You are Locked On Marlins Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Miami on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What is up, Fish fans? Welcome to another edition of your Locked On Marlins Postcast. My name is Jim Grieshaber. You can call me Grease. Look at the green shining in the light today. How about the Marlins in Milwaukee going for the sweep against the Brew Crew? And you want to say they came close, but no, sweep in Milwaukee, 6-2 the final. So it really wasn't that close, you know what I'm saying? But it was, if you pay attention to the details in the game, and I'll explain that as we go. But before I do, I want to just take a second here to thank you very much. And, hey, we know you have choices, right? You're making Locked On Marlins Postcast a big part of your day every day. Really excited about that, are we? We are. Like Yoda. We're free. We're available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's show is brought to you by Supply House. SupplyHouse.com. The reliable way to get parts fast. Shop for your next plumbing, HVAC, or electrical job and get fast shipping from coast to coast at SupplyHouse.com. And the Marlins on that road trip started off so well, right? 2-2 against the Mets to start after the break. They take 2 out of 3 against the Orioles, the American League's best team. Yeah, they caught them at the right time. Same thing with the Brew Crew. No longer Harvey's Wallbangers. Hadn't really been scoring much at all lately. As a matter of fact, the Marlins come in and they win the first 2 games of the series in Milwaukee. They took 2 out of 3 from the Brewers, May 20th through 22nd in the MIA. Yo, I can't even quote Rick Ross anymore. I mean, he got beat up by a white dude in Canada. Like, can I even like rap? Can I even listen to him? Am I allowed? Are you even a hip-hop legend if you get checked by a white dude in Vancouver? I'm not really sure. I mean, I'm just asking. It's just a question. Don't get mad at me. Anyway, the Marlins today in Milwaukee, they had beaten them 4 out of 5 games so far this season, and it looked like it was going to get it going. But first and foremost, I have to say, before we even break it down, all hail Xavier Edwards, the youngin'. How about that? His first career home run today. How about reaching base all 5 times safely today? How about scoring 2 runs today and having all that, every single bit of it, even being the new leadoff man with all that jazz, being traded to the New York Yankees, Jazz Chisholm I'm talking about, but every single thing I just told you about Xavier Edwards pales in comparison to the biggest news of the day and the biggest news of his career. Xavier Edwards hit for the cycle. He hit a home run in the first inning, put the Marlins on top 1-0, and that was before, obviously the Brewers got it going with Jake Bauers. Jake Bauers should have sent KyleTyler to the showers, helped send KyleTyler to the showers, did Jake Bauers. I amuse myself. It's all that matters. But Xavier Edwards with a ball game today. All he needed for the cycle was a single in the top of the 9th inning. This game had so many storylines. The Brewers with Devin Williams coming back, their closer who had the back injuries, 2-time Hoffman winner, insane numbers over the last couple of years. Speaking of closers, Tanner Scott trade deadline. No, we'll get to that as well. But Devin Williams, who's been 8-3 with 36 saves and a 1.53 ERA last year, made the season debut. Josh Bell grounded out, and what might very well have been his final Miami Marlins at bat. Yeah, I said it. Deadline last year to deadline this year for JB, and he stayed in over the break in the cages. Really worked on that swing. Contenders could use him. He's a DH. He is a first baseman. Decent with the glove. Big back. Obviously strong. And he has the ability to hit high pitches, turn on the high heat. I think Josh Bell, with a lot of power, could put it together and really help a contender down the stretch, as obviously could Tanner Scott. So Bell grounds out to end that inning. But with 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning, yeah, who's up? Edwards. Easy 2 outs, right? He bounces one out towards short. Running like the wind down the first baseline, he beats it out to get the cycle. He legged out an infield single to hit for the cycle. There was no way they were getting him on that play. You know how, like, they say you have superhuman strength, like if a car falls on you or a train runs, well, not if a train runs you over, but like if you're trapped under a car or something, they say you all of a sudden develop superhuman strength. That's what Xavier Edwards had running down the line with that cycle, man. And you know what a cycle means. Please tell me you know what a cycle means. That means a single, a double, a triple, and a homer in the same game. And that was Xavier Edwards today, a big bright spot for your Miami Marlins. Also, a bright spot on the day was Bryan De La Cruz, DLC, man, on the DLC tip. 2 for 4 with an RBI. Good game for him this afternoon. I mean, and look, KyleTyler, 4 innings, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 5 strikeouts. He's not a starting pitcher. They have 7 starters on the injured list. Sandy Alcantara and the Cy Young Award in 2022, one of the better pitchers in baseball. Max Meyer finally pitching yesterday after being sent down because of a load restriction. I got a load restriction for you right here. Anyway, and that's how I feel about those things, honestly speaking. Luzardo, who was dealing, Weathers, who was dealing, both on the IL. You got Cabrera starting the opener in Tampa on Tuesday. Day off tomorrow. Whatever shall I do? A day off in Miami. Maybe. We'll see. See the weather's like. Anyway, but as I look at this Marlins team and I see what could happen over the next couple of days, I get a little scared. I get a little worried. I get a little consumed by anxiety because we've already lost Luis Ariz. We've already lost Jazz Chisholm Jr. Josh Bell was put on waivers. If he clears waivers and nobody claims him, it'll be a trade. No one wants to pay. He's got a huge salary. No one wants to pick that up. It's going to be tough to trade him. And I don't see anybody claiming him. And then also because they have to pay him. And then Tanner Scott. Great Scott. Sean Connery. Where's he going to go? Why would you trade him? He's an all-star closer. He's the best player on your team. You literally do not even want to compete next year. If you could have kept this team together. Ariz, Chisholm, Bell, Tanner Scott. Bring in one bat in the middle of the lineup with this pitching staff, the rotation in the bullpen. Come on. This could be a World Series contender next year. I mean, just move the team. Just get rid of the team for so long, year after year after year. I mean, this is the bad thing about baseball. Just compete or don't and go somewhere else, man. Go somewhere else. Stop trading all our players year in and year out. It drives me crazy, and it's also very easy for me to say. Meanwhile, for Milwaukee, they finally started to hit. I mean, it had been a long time. As a matter of fact, with Milwaukee, they had not done anything offensively in games. So like 3-6, they scored 8 runs in the last game of the Twins series about a week ago. But after that, they hadn't scored 8 total in their next 6 games. And they got the Braves coming in. The Marlins go to Tampa, then they play at Atlanta for 4. But that was the Brew Crew right there, just not scoring any runs. They finally got going offensively. Brice Turang, more on him in a minute. Dang, Turang, you see it on the rundown right there. Dang, Turang, killing the Marlins today. Not just offensively, but defensively as well. Bowers had a big game, 2 for 3 with a big home run, 2 runs scored, and 2 RBI. Jake Bowers, with a name like Jake, that's my son's name. With a name like Jake, it has to be good, right? Well, not necessarily if you've been watching Jake Berger. Mitchell had 2 hits for Milwaukee. Garrett Mitchell had himself a pretty good game. Runs scored as well. But, man, Brice Turang. Let's talk about Brice Turang. Dang Turang. What a game he had. Obviously, the second baseman, about a 270 hitter. Not a lot of power or anything like that. But the leadoff man for Milwaukee, 2 for 3 with a run scored and an RBI, a single, a double, and 2 of the best defensive plays you will ever see made on a baseball diamond. In the 3rd inning, the Marlins have the bases loaded with 1 away. It's 2-1 Milwaukee at that time, right? Because you had already had Xavier Edwards' solo homer gave Miami the lead in the top of the 1st inning. And then in the bottom of the 1st, Milwaukee came right back. And they hadn't done that in the previous 2 games when the Marlins jumped on them early and beat them up a little bit. You're starting to say, here we go again after Edwards' dinger, right? No. Bowers homers to right field scoring. Turang, who had led off the inning with a single. Turang singles, and then Bowers homers to right. Excuse me. It's 2-1 Milwaukee. All right. Now, fast forward to the bottom or the top of the 3rd inning, rather. And where are we with the break? Perfect time for the break and the tease. On the other side, I will take you through the Marlins' top of the 3rd inning. On the other side, I will take you through that one point in the ballgame where this ballgame was won by the Milwaukee Brewers by one player in particular with 2 of the best defensive plays you'll ever see a second baseman make. I'll break it down in just a moment. Dang, Turang, you're watching Locked On Marlins Postcast with me, Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease, 6-2 Milwaukee. Marlins win the series 2-1. Day off tomorrow before they head to Tampa. Finishing up the show in just a minute. Stick around. And you guys know, look at this over here with this green, right? You know that instant confidence boost that you get from an outfit that makes you look really good. I'll say it, grown and sexy. That's what I get with Stitch Fix. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist who understands your style, your size, and your budget. Budget, who cares about budget? Who cares about budget? You hear me? Budget's overrated. They do all the shopping for you with Stitch Fix. It's the easiest way to update your wardrobe this season. That's right. Easily upgrade your wardrobe this year with a professional stylist who helps you find new on-trend favorites that work for you. In a city like Miami, let's face it, if you don't look good, you do not matter. You might not even exist. It's true. It's Miami. Don't hate the player, hate the game. I just give my stylist my size with Stitch Fix. Stick to the script, Jim. Style and the budget preferences as well. I order boxes when I want and how I want. No subscription required. Are you kidding me? And when they send 5, count them, 5, just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and pro styling advice, I keep what works. I send back the rest. My stylist sends me just right pieces all the time, and the fit is on point. It's like they have style ESP. I don't know how they do it, but they just get me. Stitch Fix makes it all so easy. I don't like to shop. They save me, okay, maybe I do, but it says that in the script. They save me the time and the effort, plus I get outfits that make me look and feel really good. And if you don't love something, you just send it back. Shipping, returns, and exchanges are always free. Even if you know how to shop like me, even if you pick out great clothes like me, Stitch Fix is still awesome to take a lot of that work out of it and complement your already dope wardrobe. So don't be offended. You got help here with Stitch Fix. For style that makes you feel as good as you look, get started at stitchfix.com/MLB and get $20 off your first fix. That's stitchfix.com/MLB for $20 off. stitchfix.com/MLB. Must redeem within 7 days of sign-up. Offer does not include kids' fixes. Man, I just want to pimp myself out one more time. I'm feeling it today. I am. Are you watching Fox Sports or ESPN on your TV all day? I hope not, because you'd have to turn the volume down from all that shouting. If you do and you're looking for an alternative, hey, make the switch to Locked On Sports today, a free 24/7 sports streaming channel programmed for you every day to bring you the biggest stories without all the screaming. Locked On Sports Today brings you can't-miss analysis, opinions, and news, streaming 24/7 on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making us a part of your day every day. We're free, available wherever you get your podcast. That means Spotify. That means Apple. That means iHeart, Stitcher, Podbean. I'll keep going. That 10-mile layer of diamonds they just found around Saturn. I'm sure you can hear us there, too, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's show, of course, brought to you by SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com, the reliable way to get parts fast. Shop for your next plumbing, HVAC, or electrical job and get fast shipping from coast to coast. Feel like a comatose at SupplyHouse.com. Just comes out of me. It really just does. I hope you're having a good time. Locked On Marlins postcast. Jim Grieshaber, call me Gries. 6-2, they lose today. You can't win every day. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you might just find that you take 2 out of 3 from the Milwaukee Brewers after you take 2 out of 3 from the Baltimore Orioles. In case you're not paying attention, that's 2 first-place teams in a row. 2 in a row. Baltimore in the American League, been killing it all year long. Milwaukee, 6-game lead over the Cardinals. The Cardinals got a walk-off home run from Paul Goldschmidt. Shout out to Goldie, his 2000th career hit today. It didn't matter. It doesn't matter if you got a walk-off home run. I can't do the people's eyebrow, or I would. Anyway, speaking of the people's eyebrow, that reminds me of the University of Miami, which is my alma mater, which reminds me of the day the Brewers had today for Ryan Braun, the former University of Miami star. In fact, when I was the voice of the University of Miami for ACC Select for 2 years, doing all their sports down there, oh man, Ryan Braun was playing at the U, and those were the days, right? Before he went to Milwaukee, 07 to 2020, with a great career for the Brew Crew, and all those years with Milwaukee. All that success, they put him in the Walk of Fame today. So congrats, Ryan Braun, a great Miami Hurricane, a University of Miami Hall of Famer and legend, and now a Hall of Famer, already a legend with the Milwaukee Brewers. So congrats to Ryan Braun. Big day for him today. on a day when the Brewers got the win over the Marlins, and that, of course, from the city where he went to college. So maybe his old teammate Gabby Sanchez was there, who works the Marlins broadcast, or telecast, I should say, because television is telecast, Jim, broadcasts are radio, hey, anything. We're doing a live stream here. So 5 pitchers for the Brewers. Myers allowed 1 run. Pamps allowed the other for the Marlins, and then Tyler, 4 earned runs allowed for the Marlins. Ramirez allowed 2 earned runs in 3 innings in relief. So the bullpen, as it usually stands, constructed with Nardi and company. And don't forget, A.J. Puck got traded to the Diamondbacks. Don't want to forget him when we're talking about Chisholm, and we're talking about Luis Arraez. As a matter of fact, let me update the YouTube here. Luis Arraez, and who else? Jazz Chisholm Jr., Luis Arraez, and A.J. Puck have already been dealt away. Man, that's tough in Arizona. You get a guy like A.J. Puck. Man, that really bolsters that bullpen. The Diamondbacks are really looking to make some moves and head back to the deep postseason run they had last year, which is exactly what the Marlins could do next year if they would keep this team together, which they're not, so I should stop wasting my breath and crying about it because it won't do me any good. I'm not writing the checks, man. There's a lesson. I tell my kids all the time, you write the check, you make the rules. You don't write the check, the rules apply to you. You write the check, you apply the rules. You don't write the check, the rules apply to you. Plain and simple, unless you're P. Diddy, but he can't write any check now to control any rules. But you know what I'm saying. For the most part, you write the check, you make the rules. Until you abuse them for decades, and then they take it away. You see what I'm saying. Anyway, he has a house in Miami. It's relevant. Yeah, and the Marlins have the day off tomorrow. They go to Tampa Bay. They're 3-23 against the Rays over the last 4 years, and it's been a disaster. And so they're looking to get that going. You got the trade deadline. Bell placed on waivers. You got Tanner Scott. Luzardo and Weathers probably would have been dealt had they not been on the IL. Outside chance Luzardo still might be because he has a very, very favorable contract situation for whoever would trade for him. Tanner Scott's a rental. Josh Bell's a rental. See what happens there, right? I mean, Bell's been placed on waivers. Nobody wants to pay that fat contract. Nobody wants to pay that fat contract, and the dude's just not having a very good year. He's been raking lately, Josh Bell. He's got a hit streak going. He's got his average all the way up to a whopping 239. But how about Xavier Edwards, man? Let's talk about some positives, man. Like a positives, it's a plus, love. Edwards flying high like a dove, 4 for 4, 2 runs and an RBI today. Had that home run, first career homer, also had a walk. So not only does he hit for the cycle, which means in his case, homer, double, triple, single. He did that. He got one of every type of hit, and the single was an infield single, and he also walked. So he got on base all 5 times. He got on base every type of hit and a walk. What a game for Xavier Edwards. They might have found themselves a shortstop for a long time coming, and he, along with guys like Dane Myers, who's been hurt, these young guys up and coming. Otto Lopez has been really good at times this year. Jesus Sanchez has flashes. Don't trade away the whole team. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of things to look forward to. And I know Bell being placed on waivers, you kind of figure he's gone. Hey, what's up, Baseball Fan 31? Shout out to my favorite everydayer coming strong and saying what's up every day on the show. What do you think of the green? You like it, Baseball Fan 31? It looks good with the lights. Snazzy, I do believe. You'll see it during football season for the Kane shows. We'll be doing the University of Miami football and the Dolphins postcast this year. I will be, and the Heat after that. But listen to this. We'll have Locked On Canes, Locked On Dolphins, and the postcast for football season. We're looking to do shows on location. We're looking to do all sorts of things as we grow and build the Locked On Podcast Network. 6-2 the final today. Edwards with a huge game, hit for the cycle. Baseball Fan 31. Xavier Edwards with a huge game for Miami. De La Cruz, you know, and you start to think, man, if they still had Arraez, if they still had Jazz Chisholm, but they don't, and they probably won't have Josh Bell, and they probably won't have Tanner Scott, and there's an outside chance they might not have Bryan De La Cruz. Everyone's in play right now. You might be looking at Lopez, Bride, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to wall a pinch hitter today. Sanchez at catcher. You're just really seeing a team that's going to be picked apart. The Dodgers need relievers. The Red Sox bullpen really needs help right now. Tanner Scott right there. And look, you got the Orioles sliding in the American League East. You got the Yankees scuffling and finally pulling out a win over the Red Sox last night. They've been dismal lately, abysmal lately, whatever you want to say. And, yeah, they got a lot of work to do in the Bronx. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast. Before we hit the break, let's take a look at the comments one more time. See you later, Baseball Fan 31. Yeah, Jazz Chisholm is already gone, brother. He is a Bronx bomber. The evil empire strikes again. What was that song? Dun, 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 dun. No, that's not the Empire's theme. What's the Darth Vader song? Dun, 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 dun. No. What's the Darth Vader song? The Imperial Death March. Come on, Jim. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Nope, that's not it. Yeah, it is. Dun, 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 dun. The evil empire came for Jazz Chisholm. It happens. Sometimes it bees like that. So here we go. Locked On Marlins postcast, wrapping it up. On the other side, day off tomorrow. Heading for the Tampa Bay to play 2 games against the Rays, who are 23-3 against the Marlins over the last few years. But these are not your 2 months ago Marlins, right? This team's playing pretty good. Split with the Mets, 2-1 against the O's, 2-1 against the Brewers, 2 series wins against Milwaukee, a split with the Mets, a series win against the Mets, a split with the Phillies, a series win against the Diamondbacks. Those are some really good teams. The Marlins play good against those teams. Why, you ask? And what do we make of all the trade deadline craziness? I'll break it down when we come back and wrap it up. You're watching your Locked On Marlins postcast with me, Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Please don't trade anybody else. Right back after these words. From supplyhouse.com. I'm a skilled tradesman. You might even be a skilled tradesman. You might even be a real skilled tradesman like my dad tried to get me to be but never could. Shout out to my dad. God rest his soul. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades. The skilled tradesmen, the real ones, like you possibly. Supplyhouse.com. It's the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online, also products. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts, over 400 top brands. You get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? No problemo. Expert support, industry-leading service await you from the friendliest folks in the business, and you talk to a real person every time at supplyhouse.com. Plus, get this, pros in the skilled trades, you can get a competitive edge by joining supplyhouse.com's free master trade program. What's that? Simple. Every trade master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at supplyhouse.com/T-M and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at supplyhouse.com. Ooh, that's fun. One more time, want to remind for your mind. Locked On has launched the first ever national sports 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube, and now it's also available on Amazon Fire TV and the free Fire TV channels app. You like the ring announcer voice? You can book me on my website. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7. It's the other spot that talks about the screaming, not this one. We're covering the top sports stories of the day with the local experts of Locked On, plus our national shows. I can trail my voice off like this and still give you the same message. National shows covering every league. Find Locked On Sports Today, now available on the free Fire TV channels app. Thank you for making Locked On Marlins postcast your first listen every day. Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, Apple, iHeart, wherever you find your podcast, plus YouTube, Locked On Sports Miami, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day, and every day these Miami Marlins can drive you insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain. But you know what? A good series in Milwaukee. They win the first 2. The offense, they're hitting the ball hard. They hit a lot of line drives today, a lot of bullets right at people. They lined out to first base at Hoskins a couple times. Their outfielders made a couple of good plays up against the wall. And those 2 plays by Brice Turang, with 2 diving stops. One to his left, to the left, and then the next one to his right, Now dip. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's doing out there. So left and then the right. He robs Jesus Sanchez, and then he robs Otto Lopez 2 bullets with the bases loaded and 1 out. He makes back-to-back. Can I even quote Drake? No, too soon. He makes back-to-back amazing diving plays and cost the Marlins at least a couple of runs. But Drake comes to Miami way more than Kendrick, so we like him a lot more, don't we? I don't even know. I talked about this on an MMA Weekly show I did last night, and they were overwhelmingly Kendrick Lamar. They, literally almost booed me off the show over it. All right, I guess I got to, literally, he sounds like Urkel before he hit puberty, and I just got to deal with it. Anyway, that's the way I feel about that. But the Marlins lose 6-2. Now, the trade deadline's in a couple days. What does that mean? That means any jerseys you have with Josh Bell's name on them or Tanner Scott's name on them are about to become collector's items. That's what it means. What else does it mean? Does it really need to mean any more than that? That's the sad part more than anything. And, of course, I lost my page, but I had there it is. Major League Baseball. Bell's put on waivers. You know what I'm saying? He's trending down lately. The Guardians signed him to that $33 million contract, $16.5 million a year. They didn't remove him from the roster. They put him on waivers. They're hoping that a team will claim him and take the contract off his hands, specifically with Bell because he's been so hot lately. And then you got Tanner Scott, Dodgers or the Red Sox. You know what I'm saying? So let me hit this back for you real quick. Miami Marlins trade rumors, because there's a few of them out there, but Bell's on waivers. They're praying to God that someone takes him. They're literally praying to God that someone takes him. I don't think anybody will. Who's going to take Josh Bell for, $7 million for the rest of the year? You got to have an embarrassment of riches to do that. You got to be the Dodgers. You got to be the Yankees. The Yankees, nobody's been hitting the corner outfielders and the middle infielders. They got Jazz Chisholm. He's a gamer, can play center, can play middle infield for you. The Diamondbacks need a reliever. The Marlins traded him, A.J. Puck. Still might see Luzardo traded, even though he's on the injured list because of the contract. Tanner Scott, the all-star closer. You got a couple. You got a couple of other relievers who have pitched really well who could be on the block. Tanner Scott's the big one, though. That's the big one. They're very close to trading Tanner Scott, is what I'm reading, and they're listening to offers for Josh Bell. So this is what you're getting with the Marlins. A first all-star nod for Tanner Scott, control issues early in the season, 17 walks in 17 innings. Since then, forget about it. This dude's been the best closer in Major League Baseball from that point forward. Come at me, bro. I don't care. He has been. He has more 1, 2, 3 innings than anybody. He's been striking out the side. He comes in on the hands and at the end of the bat, breaking bats, sawing wood. He's absolutely filthy out there on the mound. Absolutely filthy. And you don't want to see him go. 6-5 with a 1.18, and he can hit the open market following this season. He's literally a rent-a-closer. A team like the Red Sox, a team like the Dodgers love to get their hands on a guy like Tanner Scott, sign him long-term right now. Any team in baseball would love to have him as a short-term. Who doesn't want him coming out of the bullpen, even as a setup guy late in games? But who's he a setup guy for? 1 or 2 guys in the league, maybe. Playoff contention's gone. Now they're headed toward another rebuild. Didn't really give this team a shot. The team didn't give itself a shot. The Red Sox, Orioles, Yankees, Dodgers, all contenders for Tanner Scott. And everybody wants him. Everyone wants Tanner Scott. I wouldn't be surprised to see Luzardo, possibly Weathers, go too. I wouldn't be surprised. Teams asking about Max Meyer to include him in a deal. Hell no. That's the answer. So we'll see. I'm not in a position to make any kinds of calls or claims on this, obviously, but Luis Ariz, A.J. Puck, Jazz Chisholm already got out of jail free. Who's next to leave baseball purgatory known as Miami? Man, what a difference if you only played basketball or football instead of baseball in that city. Speaking of which, we'll have the Dolphins, Hurricanes, and Heat postcasts later on this year. Can't wait for football season right around the corner. The preseason games coming up. Tua got paid. Oh, the Finns too. Big-time skill players all the way across the board. That defense looking nasty, boy. It's going to be a good year in Miami. Fans are salivating, man. When's the last time the Canes and Dolphins were both not only good, but going into a season you feel like they can compete for championships? I said it. Keep the 305 alive, baby. Football season. It's been a while. It's been a hot minute. Not anymore. there's a storm brewing in Coral Gables. I'll tell you that right now. I will tell you that right now. There is a storm brewing in Coral Gables, and it's going to be a lot of fun to see that develop as the weeks and months move on. Didn't everybody join the Big Ten anyway? Who the heck cares about college football and the SEC? I do, but the way they have it aligned, it's just a joke. They're just killing and destroying the game. Look at Xavier Edwards behind me. Look at this man right there. Look at him. He hit for the cycle today. That means he got a hit of every kind. He needed a single in the 9th inning. He legged one out with 2 outs. How bad do you want what you're going after in your life? Food for thought. That's all there is, Fish fans. There is no more. I love you, Mad Dog Jim Mandich. That's always my little respect to one of my favorite mentors and a legend in the city of Miami along the airwaves, as well as for the Dolphins. But yeah, the Marlins lose 6-2, take 2 out of 3 against Milwaukee. This team's going to look a lot different in a couple days with the trade deadline coming. Josh Bell, Tanner Scott, probably more, going to join Jazz Chisholm, A.J. Puck, and Luis Arise, having already been sent packing and out the door. All you might get are some cleats on the floor, and the Marlins will not win a lot of games this year because they already put themselves in that position at 39-67, where it is fire sale time, where it's going to be rebuild time, where everybody you love who had the ability to keep them in games or players who put them in the playoffs last year will more than likely be gone, because that is the cold, hard, cruel business of Major League Baseball. Thank you so much for being here day in and day out. We appreciate you, the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. For all of us, to you, I'm Jim Grieshaber. Call me Grease. Keep your game tight and your mind right. I'm out.